Our journey to Africa's monarchs takes us to Ghana and to the mythical Ashanti Kingdom. The Ashanti were forced to abandon their palaces during the colonial era, but their kings remain to this day.
We have been very careful not to lose our tradition and our culture, because the people with that culture cease to be people.
In Sierra Leone, we attempt to find one of Africa's most important royal symbols, the legendary crown of Madam Woki Massaquoi, which has been missing for more than 25 years. The West African coast. This region was once home to important empires like Ghana, Mali, or Songhai. Europeans discovered the riches of West Africa in the 15th century, and a race broke out among the seafaring nations. Every country wanted to be the first to settle the land along the coasts. Fortresses were built, trading posts were established, and relationships with the local inhabitants were developed. There was one overriding economic principle: trade. Gold, ores, ivory and spices were bought and sold, as were people. Africans were both victims and perpetrators of the slave trade. African rulers fought wars in order to capture prisoners and force them into slavery. It was a lucrative business. The Europeans created the demand and were willing consumers. The French, the British, the Germans, the Portuguese, the Dutch, the Spanish, they all carried goods, weapons, and alcohol to the West African coast and exchanged them for new slaves. The people were sold into slavery in Brazil, the Caribbean, and the southern states of the USA, if they survived the journey by sea. Ghana, in West Africa. This was once the realm of the legendary Ashanti Kingdom. The Ashanti were one of the few African societies who successfully resisted the European invaders for a long time. They finally surrendered to the British at the end of the 19th century. In 1957, Ghana became one of the first African countries to regain its independence. Our journey to rediscover the old Ashanti culture and the traces of colonial rule begins in Ghana's capital city, Accra.
I have discovered that a Ghanaian painter, Godfrey Donkor, produces large historical paintings. He is also an Ashanti.
Are you Godfrey?
Yes. Pleased to meet you.
Very nice
Lovely
to meet you. This is amazing, huh? How many meters is this?
It's, I think it's about 11, I think. It's panels, it's 9 panels.
Yeah.
8 foot by 4 foot, so altogether about 11 meters altogether.
And it's amazing.
Well, yeah, this is an interesting story. It's from a book by an English explorer called Thomas Bowditch.
Yeah.
He came to this region in 1817, and he walked from Cape Coast to Ashanti, and to deal with the Ashanti. He was a diplomat as well for the British government.
Yeah.
But this is the first European to paint a scene of the Ashantis. The English are here. There's the English look.
Yeah.
And then the English flag is here, the Dutch flag is here, the Danish flag is here. So which tells us that in 1817, the Ashantis were trading with the Dutch, the Danish, and the English. And we also never had any pictures of the Ashantis until this.
Wow.
And then photography obviously came, and then there was pictures.
I see.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Klimt specialist. And there were a group of Ashanti, they came to Vienna. Mm-hmm. There were a group of 100. Mm-hmm. And the leader was a prince. Mm-hmm. And those are photographs of the Ashanti from 1897. Mm-hmm. And this is this is the prince. Can you imagine? This is the whole group.
It's amazing. Yeah. I've never seen this before. Yeah. So that's the prince.
Yeah, that's the prince.
I've never seen it before. Incredible.
And Gustav Klimt did a portrait of the prince. And this is the painting.
Wow.
Gustav Klimt.
This is Klimt?
This is Klimt. And this was a friend of Klimt. He did also a portrait from the other side.
My God, I've never seen this. That's amazing. That's beautiful, isn't it, Klimt? Yes. But that means they actually met.
Yes.
Yes, so he searched for the Gustav Klimt, no?
Yes.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
The Ashanti kings remain an important part of Ghanaian society. But the country is a democracy, and the monarchs have no political function. However, the highly educated leaders do have authority and are responsible for preserving the country's culture. We are waiting to be received by King Nene Sekita II. Various Christian confessions, Islam and traditional faiths all coexist peacefully in his kingdom in southeast Ghana, as they do elsewhere in the country. The Ashanti kingdom existed for more than 200 years, from 1695 until 1896. Now, they are merely one ethnic group among many in Ghana.
Is this okay?
What shall I say?
Their palaces were destroyed or repurposed. Yet they still have their kings.
Yeah. He took the picture with them.
And your uncle is right here, with the crown.
Yeah. This is my uncle.
But there are very few from Ghana, I see, no?
I know. In 1948, he was at the African Conference, invited by George VI to the African Conference. This is how important this kingdom is. They weren't even thinking about independence. They were thinking about how can we improve the relationship between Africa and Europe.
Okay.
Then later on, the fight for independence came in.
The European retreat from Africa had less to do with ideology than with economy. The colonial powers could simply no longer afford the colonies. During the transfer of power, the Europeans attempted to exert influence over the creation of the new national governments. While they did want a democratic Africa, they were not prepared to give up all of their power.
Colonialization hurt us in so many ways. Before the Europeans came, we only have kings and queens. That's how we, address them. Look, before colonization, we had all our institutions intact. We had our judicial system, we had our educational system, we had our health care system, we had our women and girl-child departments. We had all this before the Europeans arrived. They tried to dismantle the system that we had and impose their system on us. This is how we were before they took it away from us. And people trying to copy the European system did it badly. You know, what I'm saying is, there is no reason why we cannot develop. Africa can develop. We have so many resources. The only reason why we are not developed is because we are not following the rules of our culture. We used to be hardworking.
Ghana was renowned for its gold, and still is today. The riches attracted the European naval powers, and the typical colonial cycle of dependence began. The British, the Dutch, and for a brief period the Germans all supplied guns and ammunition in return for Ashanti gold. Armed with European weapons, the Ashanti became far more powerful than their neighbors. They fought wars in the region and forced the prisoners they took to work in the mines. The gold mined by the prisoners was then used to purchase more weapons from the Europeans. We traveled to the town of Bompata. Here we meet Nana Effa Appenteng, a former Ghanaian UN diplomat. Among Bompata's inhabitants, he is known as a so-called paramount chief. He is an important local leader in the Ashanti hierarchy.
You know, before the British came to Ghana, or the Gold Coast, Ashanti was an empire. So and if you are keeping an empire, you have to be organized to be able to keep discipline and the system going. If you look at the policies of the metropolitan powers, the colonial powers, each had a different thing. The French one was assimilation. The assimilation, they turn you as an African into a Frenchman. That was their policy. The British accepted your culture and they tried to use your traditional structure to serve their own interests. So they had indirect rule. Okay, so as much as they took over the country, they did not actually succeed in undermining our traditional structure as such. Our traditional structure is resilient, so that's why we still have it. That's why we still have the Ashanti in there, and we have been very careful not to lose our tradition and our culture, because the people with that culture cease to be people.
More than 400 years ago, a priest known as Akomfo Anokye claimed that the god Nyama had given him the task of making the Ashanti a strong, powerful people. One of the strongest clan leaders, Ose Tutu, therefore called a meeting of important dignitaries. According to the legend, the priest then brought down a golden throne from the heavens, witnessed by the Ashanti leaders. The throne was declared sacred, as it contains the soul of the entire Ashanti people. Ose Tutu was named the first king of the Ashanti people, the so-called Asantehene. We pay a visit to the palace of the present-day Asantehene and are permitted to observe a very special ceremony honoring the King of Kings. The drummers announce the impending arrival of the ruler. In the past, they spread the king's word across the Ashanti kingdom, ensuring its cohesiveness. The Asante Hena, Otumfuo Nana Ose Tutu II. The king's power derives from the fact that he is a direct descendant of the original king who founded the Ashanti kingdom. He is the 16th Asante Hena to lead the Ashanti people, who continue to have a significant impact on Ghanaian culture and regularly declare their loyalty to their king. Alfred Weidinger hopes to take a portrait photo of Otumfuo Tutu II. After several discussions, he is finally granted permission.
I wonder what power or influence these kings still have in modern democratic Ghana. Are they more than traditional dignitaries? A reminder of a former great civilization?
The power of the early Ashanti kings was based on more than Ghana's gold and wealth. They used European weapons to conquer new territories and capture Africa's most important resource: human beings. They were sold to the Europeans as slaves. This is conveniently forgotten when old Ashanti traditions are celebrated today. We leave Ghana and travel to Sierra Leone. The country's capital, Freetown. The name Freetown was chosen to mark the city's role as a place for Africans that had been sold into slavery to return to. It is now home to more than 1 million people. In 1808, Great Britain declared Sierra Leone a crown colony and assumed administrative powers over the coastal regions. Towards the end of the 19th century, facing competition from other European colonial powers, the British expanded their sphere of influence in Africa far into the continent. The country finally achieved independence in 1961. Sierra Leone is now a constitutional republic with an elected president, but administration at local level is still based on deep-rooted structures from the pre-colonial era. There are 190 so-called chiefdoms, small territories ruled by a paramount chief. The leader is elected and is responsible for overseeing jurisdiction and taxation. We hope to meet some of these local Sierra Leone kings and discover how they shaped the country's modern social and political structures. Our first stop is the Sierra Leone National Museum. Among the many historical artifacts are walking sticks with gold handles. Shortly after Queen Elizabeth II declared Sierra Leone's independence, these were distributed to the paramount chiefs as a symbol of royal power.
And then also in the southern part of Sierra Leone, they do allow female to stand as chieftaincy in terms of chief, yeah. Like we have Madame Teresa. She is Madame Teresa. She is from the southern part of Sierra Leone. And we have example of some of the chiefs. Like this chief is from the southern part of Sierra Leone. Kenema district.
With a crown,
Yes,
with a
with
golden crown.
That crown was given to one of the female chief and that he took over from.
Today, the Bullen boats of Freetown are riding out to give their welcome to the Royal Yacht Britannia. We are back where the drums beat and the tribes foregather with their rich-robed chiefs at Durbar at Bow, the principal town of the interior. 1,000 people answered the call of the drums to join the processions and the wild, infectious dancing. The Queen's put on her tiara in case some here mayn't recognize a queen without a crown.
Madame Woki Massaquoi with her crown, a crown that is far larger than the Queen's. Her son, King Sylvester, inherited the crown from her. He died in 1990. The crown is the subject of many legends. It is said that it was first worn in 1810 by an African king known as Siaka. It then vanished, reappeared, and vanished again. The crown has now been missing for decades. We travel deep into Sierra Leone with a vague hope of discovering clues to the location of Madame Woki Massaquoi's legendary crown. Our first destination is Kabangbama village in the Moyamba district. Alfred Weidinger would like to take a picture of the local paramount chief. An old litter from the time of Queen Elizabeth II's visit is to be brought out for the photo. There are several female paramount chiefs in southwest Sierra Leone. Madame Hawa Kapang Boam III has ruled her chiefdom Imperi for 35 years.
Thank you, gentlemen.
She is allegedly a direct descendant of Imperi's founder, a warrior and elephant hunter who settled here more than 200 years ago. The neighboring chiefdom Kagboro is also ruled by a woman.
The police.
The police is coming, yes.
Yes.
Like this. Is this possible for you?
Yeah.
Very nice. You have very nice eyes. I like this very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's always important for a photographer, you know, to have the light in the eyes. So, and you are one of the very few female paramount chiefs in this country. I mean, even in West Africa.
Yes, yes. Fortunately, I'm from the section of the country where women can become paramount chiefs when they have the right. You have to be qualified. You have to be the daughter of a chief or the granddaughter of a chief or a relation, very close. And the East and the South do recognize female chieftaincy. It's the North and Kono that are still fighting to give that right.
In a village in Madame Hawa Kapang Boam III's chiefdom, we witness a ceremony performed by a secret society known as Poro. Only men may join the secret society, and the secret refers to the knowledge shared within the group rather than the membership itself.
I'm the owner of this level. I'm the owner of this level. I'm the owner. Yeah.
Members are often pressured into joining Poro. and it is impossible to leave. The men are determined to retain control over the society's mythical secret knowledge. The Poro society once made laws and decided over war and peace. The secret society can also declare absolutely anything taboo. During the colonial era in the early 1900s, Sierra Leone suffered serious supply shortages after grain was declared unacceptable. The British subsequently issued a decree forbidding taboos being placed on local foodstuffs. We leave southwestern Sierra Leone and continue our search for Madame Woki Masakoi's legendary crown. Prior to colonialism, crowns were rarely used as a symbol of power. However, local rulers, who had amassed riches due to the slave trade, were determined that they would enjoy the same trappings as European colonialists. They too wanted to be crowned with a valuable headdress made from gold, silver, and diamonds. On our journey into central Sierra Leone, we discover frequent reminders of the civil war that tore the country apart between 1991 and 2002. Bridges are yet to be rebuilt. There is no drinking water in some places, and many villages still don't have electricity. Sierra Leone is one of the world's poorest countries, and there is no money to rebuild infrastructure. This is despite the fact that Sierra Leone's soils contain unimaginable wealth that is the envy of the rest of the world. Diamonds.
But over 15 million pounds a year have been earned by mining diamonds in the Kenja River Valley since they were discovered 22 years ago in this alluvial mud. There it is, the one little stone that is worth all those hundreds of buckets of mud.
Various factions fought for power in Sierra Leone for more than 10 years. Above all, it was a war for control of the mines. To date, the full extent of the damage caused by the war remains unknown. It is estimated that hundreds of thousands may have died, while more than 2 million people were displaced.
The brutal war, it was actually worst for us, for we Israelians. The war lasted for almost 10 years, but it was not easy. It was not an easy task. Pregnant women were killed. Innocent people were murdered. And most of us ran away. But the government by then, under the leadership of President Kaba, fought the rebels, and automatically he succeeded. But we say thanks to God today now we have peace in Sierra Leone. And we are really enjoying the peace.
Henry Fangawa has been paramount chief for 46 years. His chiefdom was captured by rebels during the Civil War, and he was forced to flee to Sierra Leone's capital, Freetown. The reason his territory was so hotly contested is clear. Diamonds are mined here. It is very unusual that we're invited to visit one of Henry Fangawa's diamond mines. Many of the paramount chiefs we meet on our travels through Sierra Leone refuse to discuss their most valuable resource, let alone show us their mines. It is a difficult subject. The fight for ownership of the mines caused thousands of deaths, and working conditions remain harrowing. The trade with precious stones from Sierra Leone continues to flourish. Almost all of the diamonds are exported to foreign countries. The primary destination is Great Britain, the former colonial power.
Diamond is important for few people in my chiefdom because not everybody is doing this mining. We more rely on agriculture.
The other chiefdoms, they are more concentrated on diamond, I guess. Huh?
Well, most chiefdoms, they don't consider. But even if you are doing mining, you think of your stomach first. You think of agriculture. Well, agriculture is the first paramount one. Then later, the diamond will come in. But if you are hungry, I don't think you go and do mining. And today now, the question of mining in my own chiefdom costs a lot of money.
Sierra Leone's diamonds are renowned for their size, brightness, and purity. Above all, they are renowned for being blood diamonds. Profits from diamond sales were used to finance the brutal civil war Sierra Leone has still not recovered from. We continue to look for clues to the whereabouts of Madame Woki Massaquoi's crown, and we make our way southeast.
They are here.
We are told that the crown was last seen on the far side of the Yong River, which was an important trade route during the 18th and 19th centuries. This is the territory of the Mongareva Yong chiefdom.
During the rains, you will have...
Here we meet Paramount Chief Ali Badara Sheriff III.
On to where the vehicle is. Now we cross by boat to the other side of the river. I see.
He intends to show us the village where he was born.
Right.
And the people, they are living from fishing and the river?
And agriculture, mostly agriculture.
Agriculture?
Yeah, mostly. Although some people do fish, but then agriculture is their main activities.
Sheriff III is a Muslim and has been the paramount chief since 2002. His ancestors fought the British colonial forces here.
So this was what now they were using as gun to defend the kingdom. Formerly it was kingdom, but it was the British that changed it. Instead of king, they were kings in those days and not paramount chiefs. But because the British colonized us and they needed only one king, they changed the name from kingdom to chiefdom. And then those rulers, whom we call now paramount chiefs, were kings. So the British had not wanted that one, and so they completely changed those names. That is why today I'm a paramount chief, and my chiefdom is called chiefdom instead of kingdom. Or I'm not called a king. I should have been a king as well. So that's the idea.
Paramount chiefs are also responsible for the physical well-being of their subjects. Sheriff III proudly shows us the village's medical facility.
You have the consultation room, other rooms. We have 12 rooms here in all, and the quarter is behind for them to stay so that they will not strain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are the rooms
Yes.
for the
Yeah. Maybe delivery.
sick people.
Yeah, delivery room. Yeah.
Delivery room.
Yeah.
After delivery, the mother can lie here
Yeah.
for observation.
I see.
Wherever we could send her home.
So a good leader must be with his or her people. And you must not excel yourself. What I believe in, that leadership comes from God. Make your people feel good. They should not be afraid of you. But then there should be that friendly atmosphere among you all. And that is what I believe in.
All of Sierra Leone's paramount chiefs keep telling me about everything they do for their subjects. I'm sure that they do a lot for the health and education systems, but sometimes I get the feeling that they also do a lot to prevent the establishment of democratic structures. Then again, maybe these are simply the thoughts of a European who believes his system of values to be the right one. I don't know.
Once again, we are unable to discover anything about the location of Madame Woki Massaquoi's missing crown. We continue our journey on the Sewa River. An old legend says that people who travel along this route go blind, and that the river steals the power of sight. Sadly, there is an element of truth to the legend. These days, it is known that the blindness is caused by so-called black flies. When they sting humans, they inject tiny worm larvae under the skin. These larvae collect in the eyeball and cause blindness. The disease is known as onchocerciasis, or simply river blindness. The small town of Bompe represents our last chance to find out more about Madame Woki's crown. Bompe is the capital of the Bompe Gao chiefdom, which includes more than 200 villages. Allegedly, Madame Woki's native village is located somewhere near here.
But there was one Madame Woki.
Madame Woki, yes.
She was paramount chief, a
She was-
female one in 1961.
Yeah.
Have you a memory on her?
No. But the paramount will know more. If you ask, he will tell.
Who?
The paramount chief, yeah.
We know more.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Very nice. Thank you.
Although the experience of the last 3 weeks has taught me not to get my hopes up, I once again meet with the paramount chief. Perhaps I will finally learn something about the crown's location.
In the past, there was also a female paramount chief here
Yeah.
in the region. It was Madame Woki.
Madame Woki Massaquoi,
Yeah.
Cardenas. She was a paramount chief, and on her death, her son, Sylvester Bebe Massaquoi, became paramount chief.
And because we also did search in archives and so on, and we saw one photograph where Madame Woki was in front of Queen Elizabeth. It was 1961.
Yeah, 61, when the Queen came to Sierra Leone.
Yes, with a crown.
Yes.
Where is this? And we also saw one photograph of in the museum, in the National Museum, with Sylvester Massaquoi with the crown.
yeah.
But where's the crown now? What's
They have the crown in Galines. They said the crown was given to them when it was not amalgamated, so it belongs to them. We just decided to say, okay, we can administrate, we can govern without a crown.
The small village of Galines. This is where Madame Woki's crown is said to be. The inhabitants of the village tell us that they do not fully acknowledge the paramount chief of Bompe as their leader. He is not from Galinès, hence he cannot be their ruler. As far as they are concerned, the king or queen must be from their village, as they are the chosen royal lineage.
Hello. Hello, sir.
The woman yesterday who brought the picture, it is unfortunate that she's not around. There was a woman who brought up a picture,
Yes.
but I don't know how can I able to get her.
But he have a memory on the crown, because he was, I guess, the only one here in the village who had knowledge about his
You have you also.
He as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
When?
He saw Madame Woki with the crown.
I see.
Yeah.
Here in the village or in
In this village.
I see.
I was staying here. The paramount chief was here.
I see.
This is the chief
Yes,
of headquarters.
No, I understand. Yeah. What would be happen when someone came with some parts of the crowns to him?
Yes, it's a bit long. Now the movie pull oil about he like even a single part of the crown. He'll be most it's symbolic. It is really, really symbolic.
Okay. So he thinks the crown is not existing anymore, but there's hope.
Since the crown is no longer existing, what is the hope? Is that what you're asking?
The hope? No, there's always hope in life.
Yeah, it is more ridiculous because we are no longer seeing the crown. We also want to make it an evidence because they used to tell us that there has been a very unique something in this land that they call the crown that is only made special for the only paramount chief. But unfortunately, it's just a history we are hearing. We've never seen it except by picture.
So now you have to wait. What's happened with the paramount chief in Berry?
To die.
Yes.
We are praying that he dies
And
tomorrow.
And then there is an election?
Yeah, immediately if he dies today, probably the government will get us to 2 to 3 months and we have new election.
And they are able to participate?
Of course they are.
And you are able to participate?
Of course. You must be a resident and a citizen of Galinès. You must come from a ruling house. You must be above 25 years of age.
Okay, all right.
Those are the basics you have to fulfill.
I understand. So he could be the paramount chief?
It's possible myself.
You are massacre as well?
Yes, I am also massacre.
They all are massacre here?
All of us are massacres.
Everyone?
Almost all.
Oh. Well, many paramount chiefs here.
For some reason, I don't trust them. The discussion with the people of Galinès feels like a well-rehearsed performance, a little show for the Europeans.
The next day, an inhabitant of Galinès comes to speak to us. He insists that we may not film or name him. He tells us that the crown has been hidden in a small hut near the village for more than 25 years. The village inhabitants have a plan. When the current paramount chief dies, he is to be replaced by someone from Galinès. As far as the locals are concerned, the king must come from here. Only then will Madame Woki's legendary crown be revealed.
Finally, the crown really does exist. And I am able to take a photo of it. At the same time, I find the whole tale somewhat absurd. It's something of a joke. After all, there were no crowns made of precious metals in Africa before colonialism. This is a European symbol of power. And since colonialism, our European history has left its mark on, and above all in, African heads.